Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, I have been debating and vacillating and going back and forth, which I know is just three ways to say the exact same thing, which is that I have been trying to decide which we should talk about this week, if we should talk about Kindles or books. So I've decided that this week we'll talk about Kindles, and then maybe next week or the week after or some week coming up we'll talk about books. So y'all go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I will get us set up with a Kindle. I'll get a list of things I want to talk about so that I don't go all down rabbit holes and acting all crazy, and I'll be back and we'll get started. All right, y'all, so if you've been around for even just a little minute, you know that I love me some Kindles. I have the little like $99 entry-level Kindle that I use every day when I'm riding on the Peloton bike. I have a Kindle Scribe over there on the couch that I use when I'm sitting on the couch reading. I have Kindle Paperwhites that I love. Those are my go-to like daily driver Kindles that I grab just when I'm ready to read a book, or if I'm running out the door going to an appointment, that's my purse Kindle. The Kindle that I take with me, my car Kindle, is generally a Paperwhite. So y'all, I love Kindles and I love talking about Kindles, and we've talked about lots of things having to do with Kindles, and y'all know often when I start talking Kindles that you need to grab some tea and maybe get your little snack because it's going to be a long one. But this is not one of those times, y'all, because I have made me a list. I have checked it twice, maybe even 3 times, and I just want to talk about my top 10. I don't know if they're top 10 tips or top 10 favorite things about Kindles, but it's my top 10 list. So let's jump straight in. And some of y'all know me, some of these are going to be useful and some of these are going to be just absolutely ridiculous and just fun. And that's what I like about them. So let's jump straight in, y'all. And let me say, as always, I'm going to try to be organized. I have made me a list. I'm going to try to go by the list. I'm going to try to talk about things in an order that makes sense to me. Does that guarantee it's going to make sense to you? No, absolutely not. But I'm going to try. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the appearance of your Kindle. Like, what can you do to control the appearance of your Kindle? And let's start with these custom covers. So you can make a custom, and I don't know what to call it, like splash screen or cover for your Kindle. And first of all, let me say that you have to have the ad-free experience on your Kindle for this to work. So you have to have, you know, like you can buy the Kindle that's it's like, I don't know, $15, $20 less if you get it with ads. So you have to have that off. Like you have to have the no ads Kindle. And one thing to know about that, and this does not count as one of my 10 tips, is, you know what? I'm gonna link y'all to a video where I talk about how to make these. And this will tell you actually a few of the things. I'm going to link it here. And it'll tell you a few of the things that we're going to talk about your Kindle, about how to make these covers. And I think in there I talk about how to get the ads taken off of your Kindle for free. So you can just pay, I don't know, $15, $20, $25. And if you have the ads enabled Kindle, like I don't know what it's called, ad-driven Kindle, whatever, you can pay to have it taken off, or you can schmooze customer service. And I've never tried that and not been able to get them to do it for free. Now you gotta be nice, and you have to sometimes like sit there and like really schmooze. So maybe it's not worth your time to do it and you just wanna pay the 20 bucks. But either way, there is a way to get the ads taken off of your Kindle for free. So, and you need to have the ads off your Kindle for this to work. So my tip number 1 is make yourself a custom cover for your Kindle. And what this is when your Kindle goes to sleep. So hang on, let me get into my book. So I'm in this book, right? You can see the text. When I put my Kindle to sleep and I have it set to show the cover of the book, it shows the cover of the book, right? Not rocket science. But what you do is you create a book, and I show you how to do it in this video. We're not going to go into it right now, but you create a book where the cover is whatever your little cute like splash screen is. So then you just flip back to that book before you put your Kindle to sleep. And that's the cover that shows up when your Kindle's asleep, which is nice, y'all. If you're reading one of those like romances on Kindle Unlimited or something, and it's got like the steamy, skeevy looking cover, and you're out like driving around and one of the neighborhood Karens comes up to say hi to you, and you're holding your Kindle and it's asleep, and the book cover is on your Kindle, and it looks like you're reading like nasty, trashy stuff out in public. Well, if you have this on instead, then the neighborhood Karens don't judge you harshly. So anyway, tip number 1 is how to make a custom, I call it a custom cover for your Kindle. There's probably a better way to describe it, but that's what that is. So that's tip number 1. Now, tip number 2 is going to get into some actual like functional, useful stuff, and that's to set up the margins and font on your Kindle so that it, I don't know, like makes your brain happy when you try to read. So let's talk about that. And y'all, before, I know I'm already into this, but let me say this. If you just got your Kindle and you don't have it set up in a way that you like you haven't fully customized your Kindle, check out this video. It's long, but I try to be pretty detailed in my chaptering so you can go through and like find what you're trying to do, or just read through the chapters to see if there are things in there that you can do with your Kindle that you don't know that you can do or don't know how to do. That'll help you to set up your Kindle either like straight out of the box, or if you've been using it for a while and you haven't really sat down and dug into the like how to set up stuff, where things are in your Kindle, go there, because this isn't necessarily the video to start with, because I'm going to assume some prior knowledge when I talk about things, and all that prior knowledge comes either from this video or from my other tips and tricks videos. So with that being said, let's talk about some things that we can do to customize your Kindle and set it up in a way that's really enjoyable for you. So let's start with the font menu. Now up here, so we're just inside a book, and we're going to touch the top here and go into this font menu up here at the top. And that's that little AA at the top. So that's going to give you a lot of your, I guess, sort of reading controls. In here, you can change your font. So you can pick, like, mine's always on Bookerly, but you can pick different fonts. And in here, you can add custom fonts, y'all. And this, in that video that I linked on how to make your custom screen cover, you can, in there I also tell you how to download custom fonts. So I don't think I have any custom fonts on this Kindle, but you can download custom fonts and really personalize your Kindle. So those would show up in here if I had any custom fonts. You can change your layout in here, you can change your margins, and you can see, as I click these, you can see up here the layout of my screen, oops. The layout of my screen is changing. So you can see what you're doing as you're doing it. You can change your line spacing. And y'all, I'm going to try to stay out of the weeds, but a lot of these things can be really great for struggling or resistant readers. And we had a whole conversation on that, which I'll link here. If you have or know or are a resistant reader, which I guess if you're a resistant reader, you're probably not watching this video, but if you have or know a resistant reader, check out this video for some ideas on how to use a Kindle or other technology, or a Kindle with other technology, to help them become more comfortable with reading. Again, we're not going to get all up into that today, but some of these are things that we talk about in that video. So change margins. And then there's other stuff within this More tab that you can change. You can turn on a clock, which I always keep on at the top of my Kindles, because if I don't, I will get completely sucked into reading and read for hours and have no idea that I have done so. So I keep the clock on at the top of my Kindle, but you can go in here and just kind of look around. We're not going to get way deep in the weeds on these, but I do talk about a lot of those in my other tips and tricks videos, but I'm limiting myself to 10 today, and those just didn't make the cut. Tell you what did make the cut, though, is dark mode. Y'all, for some people, this is an absolute game changer. Research shows that reading in white print on a dark background is less stressful on the eyes, and it can be really helpful for, I'm not going to get into this struggling reader thing, but for people with information processing challenges, a lot of times if you simply switch what they're trying to process from dark on light to light on dark, game changer. So Kindles come with this dark mode, and that's just from this swipe down menu at the top. You can just turn it off and on. And that's tip number 3, is use dark mode. So now let's get into the actual functionality of the Kindle and some things that you can do on a Kindle while you're reading. Let me show you this little trick. I meant to show you this under when we did fonts and I forgot. You can change your font size from right inside your text without having to go all the way up into that menu by just pinching to make it smaller and then swiping out to make it bigger. And I just made it bigger so that I can show you how to highlight. And look, all you have to do is long press and then drag. And can y'all see that? I hope that's the color difference is enough there that you can see that what I just dragged my finger on is now highlighted. So you can, it's just like in the old days when you'd get that big old fat yellow highlighter when you were in college and like highlight in a book. It's just like that. But now, once you highlight, so I'm going to highlight a couple of things so that I can show you. I'm just going to random highlight things on different pages. And so now that I've highlighted some things, oh, I'm at the end of my book. If I go back and I go to that menu at the top, you see this one right here that's, I think it's supposed to be like a notebook page. If I touch that, there are all of my highlights. So it collates together all of your highlights, and you can export those, which is fantastic, y'all. So if you're, first of all, if you're highlighting in a book and you just want your highlights where you can get to them outside of the book, that's a great way to do that. If you're working on something with a team and you need to send them your, whatever it is that you're highlighting in a book, an article, whatever it is, you can do that. Or if you're reading a textbook in a Kindle, fantastic. And again, back to the whole, if you have a struggling reader who you have using a Kindle to read on, have them highlight things they don't understand, things that they want to talk to you about, whatever. And then they can go back and reference it later, or you can go back and reference it later. And it gives you some talking points to talk to that reader about later. So those are highlights. And now, you probably noticed this. Let's just make another highlight. So I long pressed, and note is one of my options. So along with this highlight, I can put in a note for myself. Who is this dude? Question mark. Save. And now you see at the end of that highlight, there's a footnote. There's a little bitty one there, which I can touch, and it pulls up my note. And if I have another note somewhere else, say I just want to put a note here and write, what? Question mark. I don't know why I have all these questions. So now you see that note, because I went backwards, that note now becomes note number 1. Can y'all see these little subtext numbers? That note becomes note number 1. And now my first note, which is the second note in the book, is note number 2. And if I touch that and I hit all notes, it takes me to that little notebook page. There are all of my highlights. And you can see my notes there. You see, there's where I wrote, what? And then, who is this dude? So again, those are great ways to annotate within a text as you're reading. So highlights and notes are my things I love about Kindle. I think that was number 4. Something else that I love about Kindles, while we're highlighting and noting, we can look up words. So if you just long press on a word, it looks it up. So it gives me a dictionary definition, Wikipedia reference, and a translation. Now, along with that, I can go into, so if I go into the top menu and I go to these three little buttons over on the end and I hit Vocabulary Builder, y'all do not judge me. Do not judge all the words that I have in here. But these are all of the words that I've looked up in all of my books that I've read. Now, I've been asked if there's a way to delete all of these together, because it is not uncommon that you inadvertently long press a word and it ends up in your vocabulary builder and you're like, I know what the word dog means. Why is it in here? So you can just, or she. I have she in here. What? So within the vocabulary builder, if you press a word, you see down here at the bottom we have delete or mastered. So, well, let's look at this real quickly. So there's the dictionary definition, and it shows the usage from, y'all, I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know where I got this word, where I accidentally looked it up. So we're not going to go into usage because I don't want to shame myself here. Well, you know what, let's. So it's, okay, it's just Out of the Clear Blue Sky. That's an okay book. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't one of those like skeevy romances off of Kindle Unlimited and I'm over here embarrassing myself. So anyway, so it shows you the usage, like where the word was used within your books. And you can either hit mastered, or if it's a book you really don't, a word you really don't want to keep, you just hit delete and Bob's your uncle, it's gone. So you can go through and just delete, and it seems kind of like a pain, but it really doesn't take that long to just go through and delete the words. Now there's an app that you can load onto your computer and do this. I haven't done that, so I don't know if it works or not, but there is some such thing out there. So if you're trying to clean up your vocabulary builder, just know that that exists out there in the ether somewhere. So vocabulary builder is, I think, are we on number 5 already? Y'all, how are we already on number 5, for heaven's sake? I think vocabulary builder is number 5, but it's worth it because I love vocabulary builder. And y'all, if you can get young readers who you get to read on a Kindle to use vocabulary builder, like to slow down and actually look up words they don't know, because Lord have mercy, do kids just skip words they don't know? They do it like it's their job and they're working for a raise, they do it so much. But if you can get them in the habit of actually expecting to understand what words mean, so they'll like stop and look them up inside a book when they're reading, like it's truly empowering. So I think vocabulary builder is great for that. Like the long press and looking up words thing, I think is great for that. So that's number 5, use your vocabulary builder. This one I don't use, but I think that it's clutch that it exists. And I think it's good for people who need it to know that it exists. You can put a PIN, like a personal identification number, on your Kindle. So like if you have kiddos and you don't want them to just snatch up your Kindle and like start reading whatever it is that you're reading, and not suggesting that you're reading like naughty, bawdy stuff that you don't want your kids to read, but I don't want kids to be picking up my stuff and just start reading it, because who knows like what kind of naughty word they might see. And plus it's a privacy thing. Like you might just want to have your Kindle locked down. So it's super simple. If you just go into the menu at the top, and then just go into those 3 dots on the right-hand side, go into settings, and then device options, and privacy and security. You can see my device pin is off. So I wonder what happens if I turn it on. There we go. Turn it on and you enter a pin, confirm pin, and Bob's your uncle, you are locked down. No idea what happens if you forget your pen and lock your Kindle down and you can't open it up to read your book when you have your hero out on a ledge somewhere and he's finna fall off the building and you got your Kindle locked down and you can't get in to read. I don't know, y'all, that's you. You got to control your business and remember your pen. But that's how you can secure your Kindle, is you can put in a pin. So, pin is number 6? I don't know. Let's just stop counting. Let's just stop counting and we'll call it an agreement among friends. So the next thing that I love about Kindles is kind of random. I know, go figure. But I feel like not a whole lot of people know this. You can take a screenshot of your Kindle. So let's say you want to capture an entire page of text and you don't want to like highlight the whole thing, or you need a page as a PDF. All you have to do is tap opposite corners and you'll see the screen flash and it's taken a screenshot. And those screenshots go into that screenshot file that I'm pretty sure I showed you in the video that I'd mentioned a few times before, where we talked about custom fonts and doing your custom lock screen thing. We're messing around inside the Kindle in that video, and I think we talked about screenshots for maybe just a minute, and if not, you can at least see the screenshot folder in that video. But yeah, so your screenshots end up in that folder. And while we're talking about it, our next item is, y'all, you can use your Kindle to download and like store and move about PDFs. So if you want a way to transfer and store PDFs on a device that you're probably already carrying with you, think about using your Kindle. And it's a simple drag and drop, or you can use your send to Kindle email address, which we also talk about in that infamous video. Send the PDFs to your Kindle using that email address, and they'll go to your PDF file on your Kindle. So you can use your Kindle to download, store, or move about PDFs, which I know is a little bit random, and it's something that you might not need to do often, but it's good to know that that capability is there in case you need to use it. Another thing to know, y'all, there are tons of places to find free and reduced priced books for your Kindle. I have some favorites. I love BookBub, I love Pixel of Ink, and I'm constantly checking out books on the Libby app. I'll link you a video here where I talk about all of those things, where to find free and reduced price books. And you know what? Let's talk about that again soon. We'll do a sort of an updated where to find free and reduced priced books now, because I have some tweaks to that list, but that's still a good list. It's a good place to start. I love Kindle Unlimited. It's $11.99 now. It's for those of you that don't know, it's a subscription service through Amazon where you can read an unlimited number of the books that they have available for checkout on Kindle Unlimited. You can have, I think, 20 books out at a time, which sounds like a ridiculously big number until you get on Kindle Unlimited and start picking your books. But I believe it's a great option for people who read a lot, and especially, Captain Obvious, if you read the types of books that they make available on Kindle Unlimited. So go have a look at it. Typically, you can get your first 30 days free. A lot of times during like Prime Day or Black Friday, you can get 3 months free instead of just 1 month free. Or when you buy a new Kindle, a lot of times they'll give you 3 months of Kindle Unlimited as an option to get free with your Kindle. So think about giving that a try for free and reduced priced ebooks. And y'all, I know I've talked about this elsewhere before, but once you get that ebook, so either a free or reduced priced ebook, or if you check it out from Kindle Unlimited, that counts as you having the book. They don't care how you got it. So then if you want to get the Audible version of the book, it's almost always at a reduced price once you have the e-version of the book. So like if you want to buy an Audible version of a book, go look and see if you can find the e-version, like the Kindle version, for cheap first. Get that, or I guess look at it and see if buying that will get you a discount on the Audible book, because a lot of times that discount offsets the price of buying the Kindle book, and especially if it's in Kindle Unlimited, because if you belong, like if you're already a member of Kindle Unlimited, you check it out for free and then you get the discount on the Audible book. I hope that made sense. I feel like that was jibber jabber. Here's the point of that. If you get a reduced priced ebook, you can get a discount on the Audible version of that same book. And even if you get a free ebook or check out the ebook, I don't know if you check it out from Libby if it works, but if you check it out from Kindle Unlimited, you still get the discount on the Audible book. So keep that in mind. But yeah, there are lots of places for free and reduced priced ebooks. We'll talk about those another day. And y'all, well, almost last. This must be number 10 because it's the last one on my list. Now that we've got all these PDFs and books and all this jibber jabber on our Kindles, y'all, let me show you what my Kindle looks like. Prepare and feel free to judge me, because even though I know that I can put all of these books in folders, they're all just in here. I know that I can go in here and click on a book and see right here where it says add to or remove from a collection. I can put it in a collection on here, and y'all, I can go through and painstakingly, oh, I'm so excited to read this book. This Indian Horse. It's about I think it's a kid on a Native American reservation that becomes like I think it's here somewhere, like Minnesota, somewhere up here in like the Midwest, where he starts playing hockey and it like becomes a like game changer for him. I'm so stoked to read that book. But anyway, not the point. What was I even talking about? Oh, collections. So I could go through and just painstakingly click on each one of these books and put it in a collection, or I can get on my computer and get on Amazon on the computer and do it like I showed y'all how to do in, y'all, I don't know if I'm going to be able to link to the same video like 5 times in this video, because I keep pointing like I'm going to be able to link to the same video. If I can't, I'll put like some kind of, I don't know, icon or something here that says same video to tell you, because many of these things I did in one video. I did the custom screensaver, I did fonts, and I did making collections all in the same video. So in that video, we talk about how you can go into Amazon on the computer, and in there you can manage your like e-library. And one of the things it lets you do is put all of your books into collections. So do that on the computer, and you don't have to spend an hour and a half trying to sort them on your Kindle. And y'all, those are my top 10 favorite things about Kindles. And I have a bonus for you. And you think some of those were frivolous? This is the goofiest thing ever, but I have to show it to you on my phone. So if you go into... Daisy just straight up objected to the fact that I said 10 and I'm about to do number 11. Look, can y'all see this? Bo comes and gets in my lap when his sister starts barking because he wants to make sure I know that it's not him barking. I know, buddy. Daisy just straight up objected to the fact that I'm adding an 11th thing to my list of 10, but let me show you. If you go into your Kindle app on your phone and go down at the bottom where it says more, you can click, I think it's Reading Insights. Yes, and looky here, y'all. There are all of these challenges inside the Kindle app, and so you can do all these challenges and you can win all these little bookmarks. Which I know are the silliest things, but y'all, I love bookmarks. But since I read on, and y'all have seen, like I have all of those, like I use colored flags for my bookmarks now. But since I read on Kindles all the time, I don't really use bookmarks, because how do you use a bookmark when you're reading on a Kindle? Well, you get the bookmarks that are in the, like that you get for winning challenges. So it just makes me so happy. And I bet if you read on your Kindle on an even like semi-regular basis, if you go in and look in your Kindle app on your phone, you'll see that you've completed some challenges that you didn't even know you were in. So y'all, you're welcome. And that's number 11 on my list of 10 things I love about Kindles. Is I love that you can win challenges in the Kindle app without even know that you're competing. So y'all, those are my 10 things that I love about Kindles. Let us know in the comments, which ones did I miss? What are your favorite things about Kindles? Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos at the beginning of every week with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.